I assume the podcast has been going, so
Close.
close.
For legal purposes, it will be the ocean which kills you, not us.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old Simpsons reference. Never mind. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Church of Chonkwij Podcast. My name is DrNiggle, and I'm joined tonight by Kosen, Masami, OmegaConstruct, and C0C.
And also featuring obscure Simpsons reference.
Featuring DJ Khaled. He's still popular, right? The kids still like him.
Sure. What's it now?
I have no idea. Oh, boy. Alright, so... We were very close to having a special edition podcast in the middle of the week because Microsoft decided to buy Blizzard. More accurately, Xbox announced that it was acquiring Activision, which is the parent company of Blizzard and one other that I can't remember right now. It starts with a Z. So the whole gaming world basically react to this because on last week's podcast, I think or maybe the podcast before that, we covered.
I think both of them.
No, this didn't happen last week's. This happened the day after last week's podcast. The last one that we covered was it was Take-Two. Take-Two acquiring Zynga.
Yeah, that was last time.
And that was a $12 billion deal, and that was like, oh, that's the biggest gaming deal in history. And then Xbox comes by and it's just like, okay, how about $68 billion? How's that grab you?
$68.7 billion.
So yeah, Xbox. It is Xbox, but obviously, Microsoft is pulling the strings here. Decided to acquire Activision, and it's been a week of people talking about things. But overall, this is a fairly complicated subject. It's not really that complicated, but there is an awful lot to talk about. So I'll be trying to direct this as best I can. And we can start off with the parent article, which got us all all focused on this, which is Xbox to buy Activision Blizzard, put out by IGN on the 18th of January, day after the podcast, at 8 in the morning. An hour and a half after the last podcast came out.
An hour and a half later? God damn.
Hour and a half after the release of our last podcast, the news broke that Xbox has announced a deal to buy Activision Blizzard, the company behind Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and many other major gaming franchises, coming in at a stupefying $68.7 billion. No time scale has been given for this. However, there was an estimate on day of announcement, and there have been updated estimates since then that says this will probably be happening sometime in Microsoft's fiscal 2023 year, ending June 30th, 2023. So they're estimating it's going to take at least a year and change to push this through.
Well, yeah, it's going to have to go through U.S. regulators, probably the EU. I'm just conservatively guessing there.
Yeah, they've already signaled that they're going to have to answer some questions about it.
Excuse me.
Like anyone out there major regulating monopolies, which those are basically the biggest two that I can think of. If there's others, then I'm sure they'll out there.
So this, I feel like this was part of a domino chain that started when Take-Two acquired the mobile conglomerate Zynga. Bazinga. I'm just gonna call it Bazinga because whatever.
I mean, you might as well.
So that happens, and then Microsoft says, well, we've been sitting on this for a little bit. Maybe it's time for us to actually act on it. And they went through with this. And I'm just going to go ahead and predict here that we're going to see Facebook's parent company, Meta. We're going to see them acquiring a major game studio. And Sony's probably going to try some shenaniganry as well. Those are the large players. The largest players in this game, I believe, are Sony and shit.
10 cents.
Tencent was the other one, yeah. Sony and Tencent are at the top of the gaming food chain, as it were. They are making the most per year, and this deal will seat Microsoft at number 3 globally as the biggest gaming companies in the world.
I mean, when they said they were going to deal with, Activision Blizzard differently, like, that sure puts a whole new spin on it. Can't hear you, love.
Question is who could Meta buy in order to try to play catch up on that to even get them in the game?
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah.
Meta
Who
could
is
try to
available
buy
out
Take-Two.
there to buy?
Meta could try to buy Take-Two. That seems like something stupid they would try. But yeah,
operative word on try.
There aren't a ton of these companies to get unless somebody wants to try and make a play for Ubisoft and their parent company, or EA and their parent company. I don't think that would be worth it, honestly. I mean, Ubisoft's leading in terms of gaming. Ubisoft might be leading in tech innovation with their latest NFT stuff, but apart from that, they got a super bad reputation in the gaming community. The games that they release are broke on day one. This is not a thing that anybody argues anymore. EA is the same way. They're not even leading in any field. They're leading in their ability to just be on cruise control, basically. They put out new sports games every year, and they release DLC for The Sims, and that's their bread and butter.
I mean, depending on how you look at it, people may see this as, time to buy up all the alien game companies and reform them, with the, Activision Blizzard kind of being on the rocks a little bit in that regards.
I guess you could speculate that Meta or a larger company would start buying up independent studios. There are plenty of indie games that have excellent reputations right now, or plenty of indie studios that have good reputations around them. So you just start buying up those smaller studios and creating a giant spider web of tiny studios under an umbrella corporation, which is owned by your parent corporation. So that seems complicated. Doesn't necessarily seem so profitable. But in terms of a long-term investment, I don't know, might be worth it. Who knows? Just go ahead and let's see. That is a press release. All right. Obviously, okay. So this was the other big thing that came out of the Sony or the the Microsoft Activision announces to merge, is that Sony is obviously not thrilled on this. Activision Blizzard has a number of titles that are available on PlayStation. Some of the more popular ones, obviously, being Overwatch and Call of Duty, or no, not Call of Duty. Maybe I don't know. The concern for Sony is that if Microsoft, we all know the concern for this. If Microsoft owns Activision Blizzard, then our Activision Blizzard title is going to be Xbox PC exclusives, and this is Sony's big problem. Their corporate statement says that they expect Microsoft to honor pre-existing deals that allow certain Activision Blizzard titles to be offered on PlayStation. But of course they would.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they have to.
Yeah.
In this type of deal, even though Microsoft would be stepping over and own Activision Blizzard, you can't step on a pre-existing contract. Contract is a contract, and it exists until it expires, as far as U.S. regulations are concerned, at least.
I mean, when you buy a company, you're buying all of the contracts that are currently outstanding with that company.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they bought.
Not surprisingly, actually, before we get into that, so Sony made its statement. They are concerned but there's not a whole hell of a lot that they can do about it aside from voice their concern. Facebook was the company that came, Facebook obviously got the finger pointed at them, and it was Yahoo Finance who broke this story about how we think that Facebook might have to do something about this. Specifically because, alright, so here's something worth thinking about. Sony is leading the way. They are a pioneer right now in VR gaming. Sony's kind of at the top of their game, the world game. The next under that is Microsoft. The next under that is Meta. More specifically, Facebook gaming. The Oculus is right under what would be considered top tier, which is Sony right now. So I guess the speculation that came out from Yahoo Finance is that Facebook/Meta might want to, go ahead and try and acquire something real fast, since all the other kids are doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly how much sense that makes, depending on how strong Facebook thinks that their position in the market is. But that was the speculation. And who knows? Maybe they'll try something. Maybe they won't. But yeah, this was the other thing, just moving on. Hours after Microsoft says it's buying Activision, the US government says it's overhauling merger guidelines.
When you said that, Masami, when you posted that, I audibly laughed. Was like, no shit.
I saw that and I had to share.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of people had similar reactions to the two of you, saying that, oh, well, of course, now the Microsoft decides to do this, and then, the U.S. Department of Justice and the FTC are obviously they're they're reacting, all the rest of this. There's very little to indicate that's what happened. In fact, there's more evidence that insinuates that this is a process that has been going on since July of last year.
Cute.
And they may have made this announcement just to put it out there to the public and be like, hey, we've had this in the works for quite some time, but we're finally ready to announce that a partnership between the Federal Trade Commission and the Department of Justice are today jointly launching a review of the merger guidelines. The reason that I say this specifically is because it was back in July or June of last year, I think, that U.S. President Biden specifically said, you guys should really get together and do something about our current mergers and acquisitions regulations and everything surrounding that. He called out, there we go. It was July of 2021. President Joe Biden issued an executive order on promoting competition in the American comedy. So this order, in this article speculates, this order can reasonably be read as a precursor to the DOJ and FTC's announcement today. As it notes, specifically, the Attorney General and the chair of the FTC are encouraged to review the horizontal and vertical merger guidelines and consider whether to revise those guidelines.
I kind of figured that maybe it was just oh shit, we've been working on this, maybe we should actually tell someone about it since there's this big news.
Right. It's also highly unusual for the government to act that quickly.
Yeah. I just found the coincidence funny.
Yeah, if you need anything done fast, never ask the government to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of bureaucratic shit, and unless we're undergoing a national emergency and there's a hurricane headed somewhere, nobody in the government really acts that quickly.
There is actually, and even that is a crapshoot, because there is a meme that is, they call me Katrina because FEMA isn't coming.
Ooh. Oh.
I mean, damn, I think I just killed Kosen.
Easy there, Kosen. He's a boy.
I killed him.
Wasn't that the Bush administration? Katrina in New Orleans, or in Louisiana?
Yeah, it was
I
the Bush
believe so.
administration.
So it was, if I recall correctly, I was in college at the time, and I wasn't very knowledgeable politically, but I did get a subscription to Newsweek, which was a thing back then. That's how old I am. I thought that the executive branch specifically got blamed for the slow movement there because FEMA called them up and were like, "Hey, we're ready to move out right now," and the hurricane hadn't even hit, and the executive branch was just like, "No." That was a long time ago. Anyway, the point is well taken. The government takes forever to do just about everything. But that does not mean that in the next year and change, the review may not be complete from the FTC and the DOJ, and Microsoft might not have to reevaluate however the hell it's arranging this merger. So there you go.
I figure depending on how exactly far along those lines are, those regulations are to getting rearranged, they might argue, can't judge us on those. That's moving the goalpost.
I don't think that you can grandfather in deals.
I don't think so either, but I could see them trying to argue it.
Well, it would follow the pattern of today's everything, where you just
Yeah,
you take it to court,
exactly.
and then the court says, no, that's dumb, and then you take it to a higher court, and the same thing happens until you get to the Supreme Court. And then Brett Kavanaugh is like, I like beer, it's fine.
Oh, let's not get into the Supreme Court.
I like Brett. Brett's going to be our patron saint of something.
My foot up his ass.
He's going to be our patron saint of getting drunk.
He's the patron saint of not letting beer interfere with your job.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm going to be praying to him constantly.
I thought he was the patron saint of getting all of his gambling debts mysteriously taken care of.
Oh.
You put positive energy out there, Kosen, and the positive energy just comes back to you.
I'm sure it does. Excuse me while I die.
Yeah, that's Zero's positive energy causing him to choke right now.
So, by the way, we all hope Leetness is feeling better and is not dead yet.
Thoughts and prayers to our wonderful Leetness who is ailing.
Thoughts and porn. Thoughts and porn.
Thoughts and porn.
Thoughts and porn.
Thought spelled THOT.
Obviously.
Yes.
Begone, thought.
To Leetness's house. Also, the president of the World Bank spoke out, and I find this hilarious. Is the president of the World Bank a decent human being?
I think so.
David Malpass. David Malpass said that the deal between Microsoft and Activision is a bad look at a time when many parts of the world are struggling with debt and other issues. And his full statement goes on to a whole bunch of this, but the interesting numbers here are the entire IDA 20 commitment that we were just able to achieve in December was $24 billion spread out over 3 years. That's $8 billion per year to 75 of the poorest countries. $8 billion compared to a $68.7 billion single-shot investment in a gaming community. And you have to wonder, wait a minute, is this the best allocation of capital? This goes to the bond market. Huge amounts of flows are going to go to the bond market, and basically we're a very small portion of the world that has access to bond financing. So his whole argument was, we're putting... Microsoft is investing this huge amount of money into a video gaming company, and all of it's basically confined to the first world. Meanwhile, special programs financed by the World Bank, in conjunction with the UN, I believe, have only managed to allocate $8 billion per year, spread out among 75 of the poorest nations in the world. This is an interesting angle to take. I don't know if this is like a good publicity thing, or if this is actually what this guy thinks, because I know nothing about him.
It's, I don't know. I think it's more along the lines of the World Bank trying to stay relevant in this day and age.
Yeah, it sounds like, hey, this is a chance to say something that could, bring some attention to what we're doing. I don't think, it doesn't mean much. I appreciate the sentiment, but it's kind of like
so
a
cynical.
cool story, bro.
We're so cynical. We think all of us. We think the worst of people, but it's true.
It's not necessarily that I think the worst of people. It's just is that the true purpose of the World Bank is very well known. So I mean
Speaking of the worst of people, though, Bobby Kotick will remain Activision Blizzard CEO, but the report suggests he may leave once Microsoft deal closes. This article that I have pulled up right here is speculation that's based off the initial announcement. The initial announcement read that Activision will maintain its independence as a company with Bobby Kotick as the CEO until the merger is complete, and then all of Blizzard Activision divisions will report directly to whoever Microsoft's chair of the gaming division is. So that right there in the initial announcement was okay, Bobby Kotick is in charge until this happens, and then he's out. So people are just speculating at this point that Bobby Kotick will reportedly depart Activision Blizzard once the publisher's newly announced merger with Microsoft has been finalized.
One can only hope. That fucker needs to go.
Activision Blizzard employees have been less than thrilled with Bobby Kotick since the start of the since the state of California's investigation into, what was it, frat house culture and sexual misconduct in Activision and Blizzard.
Essentially, yeah.
They've had 2 major leaders leave Activision since then. Bobby Kotick is the only one who's, I think he's been there since 1991, right? He's been there since the fucking beginning. And he's the only
Pretty
one left.
much.
I just don't understand why everybody's making such a big deal about it. It's just a couple of guys just being dudes. Nothing wrong with it.
You're just doing dude stuff, guy dude bro stuff. I put a big old picture of him up on screen. There he is, Bobby Kotick. What a man.
Did you put a good picture for my
Weinstein?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I don't have anything juxtaposed with him and Harvey Weinstein.
No, I'm saying is I thought maybe you would, instead of putting up a picture of Bobby Kotick, you put up a picture of Harvey Weinstein.
I know, that's technically slander, I think. He's not that famous. He is,
however, he is in what's Black Book.
Epstein?
Yeah, Epstein's Black Book.
Just remember,
the guy?
Bobby
just
Kotick
remember,
is?
everybody, he didn't kill himself.
Yeah, we should do just a conspiracy podcast. That'd be great.
Oh my god!
You really don't want to do that with me.
I would make a tinfoil hat for that. I would absolutely
just
wear a tinfoil hat.
Oh, you would? Okay, yeah, fine. Zero, you need a tinfoil hat as well. We can talk about how coronavirus was a soft release.
Well, it was. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa.
Bobby Kotick was in Epstein's Black Book?
Correct.
I didn't know that. I knew. All right. Yes. Anyway.
I'm assuming at this point, just about anyone famous is probably in Epstein's Black Book.
Bobby Kotick's not that famous.
But he is fucking rich. It's not about if
rich.
Famous. It's about whether or not if you're rich.
Well, that's true. Except for when it comes to United States laws about slander specifically, like being rich doesn't make you, quote unquote, a public figure. So Bobby Kotick isn't quite in that range. specifically.
I don't know. I think
So
being the CEO of a company would probably be enough.
you might be able to. I mean, I'm sure there are political cartoonists out there that did something about this, about Bobby Kotick. But, so this is the other thing that's worth pointing out. Microsoft's whole decision to do this, just like the Federal Trade Commission and the Department of Justice announcing that they're overhauling merger regulations. It's not a thing that just like happened one day. This has been in the works for a while, I think. And I think that Microsoft started negotiating this deal probably midway through last year, or they at least had the idea for it midway through last year,
Absolutely.
because Activision Blizzard has been getting the shit kicked out of them, and their stock price has been steadily declining after the state of California's investigation. So this company got kicked in the balls. They were down, and Microsoft just decided to start piling on. So that's just something else that I want to throw out there, is that Microsoft is very much taking advantage
Oh, absolutely.
of this deal, and I'm surprised, honestly, that Meta didn't think of doing it first, or Facebook didn't think of doing it first, or maybe they were in silent competition and
Yeah.
Microsoft just made the better offer.
I'm pretty it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, corporate sharking and all that jazz. Just like the government takes a fuck long time to do anything. I mean, business does move slightly faster, but you've got to have about 15 meetings about one thing before you move on to the next action item. So, and all those meetings take time, and there's been COVID, so I fully agree that that's been in the works for a while, and they found the moment to where they wanted to seal the deal.
The thing is about it would be is that when it comes to stuff like this, the only question is who's got the ball, or who's got the wham to do it, essentially. And Microsoft can dish out $68 billion for a deal, probably no problem. Facebook/Meta might also be able to dish out a similar amount of money if they really thought it was worth it. Apart from those two companies, Sony, as big as they are in the gaming world, I don't think they have that kind of money to throw around. They're notoriously in trouble in every single one of their divisions besides their gaming division. So I'm not sure if they could have pulled that off.
Yeah, I think they're probably busy right now just like holding on to the top spot so that nothing the house doesn't fall down.
The only one that I thought of, I haven't actually put too much thought into this, but I was a little surprised when I was thinking about it initially, is that Amazon didn't make a move just to add Activision Blizzard to their Amazon gaming studio. But they could have other plans for AGS. I don't know. It just seems like, in terms of people who could afford to do something like this, I would add Amazon to that list.
Well,
they
wouldn't it
seem
be like
more inclined to be working on their own things rather than actually buying or acquiring stuff like that, or at least from what it seems like on my end.
Yeah.
Like, I know that they're more inclined to work with studios when it comes to all their Amazon productions, like with Wheel of Time and The Lord of the Rings and all this other stuff that they have created or that has been on their streaming service so far. A lot of that has been stuff that they have collaborated with other studios and whatnot, and nothing that they've actually created of their, like, they don't have their own personal studio. There is no Amazon studio. It's like a big umbrella thing, and most of the other stuff, like all the other production companies and whatnot, are essentially working with them. So
Yeah, that was... So, I guess we could just say, I mean, who thinks that this is a good idea? Who is excited, but not excited, that's a poor word. Who thinks that the gaming world might actually benefit from Microsoft/Xbox buying Activision Blizzard?
I kind of do. I mean, big conglomerate mergers are never a good idea because monopolies are bad, but I do believe that gaming wise, there could be some benefits from this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a devil's bargain, so to speak. Microsoft or Xbox and Microsoft are going to become, richer, have more power with the money that they earn, and become more of a force in gaming wise, and which has its own implications from there. But there'll be some minor improvements to the gaming sphere, so to speak. I think a lot of things that Activision and Blizzard have been doing wrong gaming wise for a while are going to see some massive improvements because Xbox actually kind of has standards to a certain degree. Xbox isn't perfect or anything along those lines, but they do seem to have the idea of in general, I just get this idea that they're going to try to do better, or that things will get better with Activision and Blizzard, with being part of Xbox and that being at the helm. Hell, we might even get to see Diablo 4 a little bit sooner than what we are currently getting.
I think that was what you said, Omega, right? That was your speculation when this.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was, hey, maybe Diablo 4 might actually come out in a reasonable time frame now.
I mean, anything's possible.
Right, there's definitely no guarantee, but that's essentially the best way to look at this, that there's going to be some sort of improvement. Don't know what it.
Listen, this isn't like good or anything. It's never a good thing when the means when the same company owns both the means of creating and the means of distributing games, and also the means of the equipment you need to play the games. Like, it's never a good thing. This is going to get very strongly looked at by U.S. regulators, as it should be. And honestly, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if it became something that regulators put a stop to or put some conditions on.
I mean, they might only let them buy certain parts of Activision Blizzard and then say you can't have these parts because it would give you too much of this certain section. They have to kind of go off on their own.
So that's happened with a lot of mergers historically. Yeah, that's definitely one of the avenues that the regulators have to use. So we could absolutely see something like that where part of it might be spun off, but I mean, who knows? On the lower level, I honestly do think maybe Blizzard games are going to come out on a better schedule. I also think maybe Blizzard games might lose a little bit of that spark that has made some past Blizzard games great, but honestly, we all kind of think they lost that spark a little while ago anyway. So fuck it, let's see what happens with this. But I think big picture, if we want to talk about this in terms of like the economics and the politics and the current destruction of the lower and middle class in America and the way that the corporate fucking entities are destroying everything. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. As a gamer, though, it could be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of on board with that general opinion. I think it'll probably do a good job of cleaning up Activision Blizzard so that if they ever try to become independent again, they may or may not be a better company after their time with Microsoft. But I kind of see as basically Xbox realized that Sony not only has good hardware, but they have good selection of exclusives and stuff that runs really well on the Xbox or on the PlayStation. And they finally realized, wait a minute, like, I mean, obviously they're going to have to honor certain contractual agreements that are already out there. But once those are done, or anything new, I sure as fuck bet you they're going to become PC Xbox exclusives. They're going to try and beat Sony at their own fucking game, even if the Xbox hardware is not that super great.
Well, and didn't Sony, or not Sony, but didn't Microsoft say when they acquired Bethesda that the new Elder Scrolls was going to be an Xbox exclusive?
I want to say maybe. I can't rightly
I
remember.
swear I remember hearing that. It may have been a joke, but I swear I remember hearing that.
I think it was at least going to start on Xbox
Yeah.
first and not come to PlayStation right away, is I think where that was headed.
I think a lot of what
hold up. This is from November 21st of 2021. Xbox chief Phil Spencer confirms that Elder Scrolls 6 is exclusive to Xbox platforms, including PC, and won't be on PlayStation, period.
Ooh, good
that's
recall,
cutting
Zero.
a swath of their market. But when it comes to things like Call of Duty, the more recent versions of Call of Duty, the only thing that has been exclusive to PlayStation is certain maps and certain loadouts and certain different like early access packages that I believe you will see go away. You won't see early access on PlayStation. You won't see exclusive maps on PlayStation. You won't see any of that. It'll be the same thing like what Bungie did when they struck out on their own. Bungie took away the exclusive rights to everything and said, "Guess what? Everybody's getting everything at one time because it's just too much for us to you know worry about putting time gates on everything." So Bungie
I mean,
stopped doing
logistically,
it.
that's just smart. So,
But I think you're gonna see a lot of the exclusivity from Call of Duty that was given to PlayStation by ActiBliz. You're gonna see that go away. You're gonna see the exclusivity of maps and guns and operators and such.
yeah, if it wasn't in the contracts, then it's probably you're probably gonna kiss it goodbye once that any part of that finalizes.
I think even if it's in the contracts will be rewritten because Microsoft isn't going to go into something without having their lawyers, which I am fairly certain are really good at their jobs, to go through and try to find some backdoor loophole to get out of aspects of the contract. And that's just, I mean, that's of course me speaking out of my ass, not knowing anything about legalese or how legal contracts work outside of, you know, what I know about, employment contracts and stuff, just from having done them in the past.
I have approximately 1 semester of business law, and that was many, many moons ago, so I am not much better.
I think I may be the only one here without a college education.
That's okay. It was expensive.
Don't worry, mine's totally worthless.
I mean, the first one of mine is totally worthless because I refused to, hang myself out to the horrors of capitalism, but that's neither here nor there. The second one was at least got me out of retail, so that's something.
Oh, come on. You wanna go in capitalism and do some capitalism? It'll be fun.
I'm already dead inside. I don't want to be a total zombie.
Oh boy. So yeah, that was the big talk this week. That was the conclusion of Fuck You, It's January. Has come early, and we now have a major merger. Between Microsoft and Activision. Activision Blizz. Woot woot. But this is going to take all year. Literally going to take all year, so we can expect to have some updates on this. I'm sure that the FTC will find things wrong with what's happening here, because
absolutely.
Sony is absolutely correct in that. Well, okay, Sony has every reason to be upset about this, because Microsoft is going, their primary competitor in the gaming market is going after a business which they have existing contracts with, And though Microsoft will most likely be obligated to honor those contracts for now, you can be pretty goddamn sure that there will not be any future contracts with Sony.
Oh yeah.
Because
Well-
why the fuck would there be?
And this was brought up in another Discord that I'm a part of, my old WoW guild. One of the guys was like, "Oh, well, maybe we'll start seeing WoW in the Game Pass and things like that." I was like, "Yeah, no, Blizzard's not going to give that money up. Are you fucking crazy?"
It will very much remain a subscription-based service.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely. And no, it
absolutely.
will not be rolled into the Xbox game subscription. If anything, it would be one subscription fee on top of another subscription fee, because that's just how shit works.
Well,
I
and-
can see a Blizzard package that you
Yeah,
add on to your
exactly.
Game Pass, where if you have to have the Game Pass in order to even get the subscription to WoW.
it would be Game Pass Platinum.
Do
But
they already have Game Pass Plus?
no, they have Game
don't
Pass
think so.
Ultimate.
Oh god. All right. Well, Game Pass so Game Pass Ultimate Plus.
Game Pass Ultimate MLG 360 No Scope. But
Sponsored by Doritos.
yeah, but well,
More
I mean,
cheese
and
than a 13th century peasant can handle.
I think the funniest thing that he said was, well, WoW would go, WoW is completely could be rolled into a Game Pass like model. I was like, no, it couldn't, because see, okay, and the way I explained it to him is, when you've got games like Destiny, okay, let's use Destiny as an example because I know Destiny. Destiny moved to a free-to-play model for everything prior to Forsaken, New Light. They were able to put that on Game Pass because it's free to play. It's on Game Pass. You get access to it. You can level up your Guardian all the way to max level, but you get access to none of the extra shit. So, and he was like, "Well, yeah, see, they could do that. You would get like the level 1 through 60 experience, or 1 through 70 whenever it happens. 1 through 70 experience, and you just don't get access to." I said, "Yes, but you can't do that with WoW, because if you do that with WoW, okay, so now they've got to pay to have access to dungeons. Now they've got to pay to have access to raids. Now they got to pay to have access to PvP. You want to talk about pissing off a swath of your fucking player base?" I'm not saying WoW is doing anything spectacular anyway nowadays, but you want to talk about losing the bulk of your player base by breaking it down and having each tier be something different? Nah, that would never work. It just wouldn't work. It worked with Bungie because Bungie had a model in place already before they decided to go free to play for that beginning experience.
But would that's really just focusing on pissing off existing players? If new players came into a system like that and they didn't know any better, then they would probably just accept it. They'd suck it up and do it.
It's true, but you're going to have returning players who are like, they're going to log into their game. They're going to think, "Oh, I've got Game Pass. I can log in and play the game." And then they're going to find out, "Oh, I don't have access to dungeons, raids, PvP, battlegrounds, arenas, any of that." They don't have access to any of that because they've got to pay for, "Oh, okay, well, prior to the merger, I had purchased everything up to Shadowlands." So you get access to everything up to Shadowlands, but then the new stuff, you've got to, it's piecemealed, like the way it is with Bungie. You have to physically go in and buy the stuff from Bungie to be able to play the newer content. So it kind of defeats the purpose of playing it on a Game Pass, like, a Game Pass thing, when you have to go to Steam. Like, I have to go to, if I wanted to play Witch Queen, which at this point I'm not paying $49 for what I've seen. Sorry, it's not happening. you've got to pay for that and go to Steam to be able to play it. So, okay, you're going to have to go to the Blizzard client and, buy the expansion anyway. So what's the point in playing it in Game Pass when you have to just go and buy the full game anyway?
Okay, so we're getting like way ahead of ourselves here, because obviously the deal hasn't even happened yet, and we have no idea how things are going to work in the future. However, it might be an interesting question just for the future to ask what will happen to the Blizzard launcher. Will Activision Blizzard retain their current method of game deployment? Their current method of game deployment is the Battle.net launcher. So Microsoft already has the Xbox Game Store, and they already have the Xbox Game Pass attached to the Game Store. Are we going to buy future Blizzard titles through the Microsoft Game Store, the Xbox Game Store, on PC or on Xbox, whatever you want, as opposed to having the Battle.net launcher at all? And
The
if
big
the
question-
Battle.net launcher dies, then what happened? Do I need to pay to access the games that I already own on the Xbox Game Store?
Really, the big question is, at least from my IT technical standpoint, is Microsoft going to go, okay, we're going to migrate all of the Blizzard accounts to a Microsoft account. Everyone who has a Blizzard account has to migrate it over to a Microsoft account. If they don't do that, we might see the two stores operate independently of each other. If they go, we want everything on a Microsoft account, then there's probably going to be some merging, and they're going to have to figure out how to integrate Blizzard's, make a section of the Xbox store devoted to Blizzard so that they can mostly import it, and then, you've got your content all in one thing. So it'll really kind of depend on if they want to go to that technical level with it, I think, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. We've seen that before, though, with accounts. Oh shit! I just had it, and now I lost it. We've seen it before where accounts from one service have been merged into another platform. So it's entirely that's not in terms of a technical scale. That's not an unreasonable thing to do, to take all the Battle.net accounts and convert them into Xbox game accounts, so that people can just basically, it would be no fuss, no muss. It actually wouldn't be a problem for an end user at all.
It was very easy. It was very easy when Destiny went from Activision Blizzard
that was
off the Battle.net launcher over to Steam. Literally, I went into Bungie, or I went into my Bungie account and literally clicked a button, and it migrated everything for me. It was that easy.
Yeah, no, they make it very easy for the end user, but as far as behind the scenes, it can get pretty hairy.
Yeah, we talked about that years ago.
It got very hairy. People lost their accounts and all of their progress, and it was never able to be returned.
Oof, yeah.
Can you imagine somebody like Asmongold losing all of that fucking progress because of a button click?
I'm sure he would make a very long video about it.
I think he would make several long videos about it.
For a long time.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how, if this whole thing goes through without a hitch, which, I don't know, I'll give it 50-50 that this actually works as planned. It'll be interesting to see how there will be integration, if there will be integration, with the Xbox Game Store, or the Microsoft Game Store, whatever you want to call it. They just need to come up with a solid name that I can remember.
Part of this, and this actually kind of leads to an article that Masami posted today, that one of the new heads from Blizzard, said that they are trying to do their best to rebuild the customers' trust in Blizzard. And who's to say? I mean, you guys brought it up earlier that these companies, or when they look at it, they say, okay, you can either have the Activision portion or you can have the Blizzard portion, but you can't have both. And Blizzard says, okay, that's fine. We'll back off and we'll start producing our own stuff because they did it for years anyway. And they are substantial enough that they could survive on their own, more than likely. And they back off, and like Omega said, we could see a massive increase in the quality of product. Yes, it may take a little bit longer for it to get out, but we see a massive quality increase in the product that Blizzard puts out just by them breaking away from Activision. It happened with Bungie. Bungie's product has gotten much better since they stepped away from Activision. It seems like getting away from Activision has helped companies, not hurt them.
Well, here, okay, so it's different in Bungie's case because Bungie was the smaller. I'm sorry, this is maybe just my biased opinion, but Bungie was a smaller company and Activision was the parent. So the kid went off and did whatever, and that it turned out to be good for Bungie. In this case, Microsoft is basically the parent coming in and buying Activision, the child. And in support of what you're saying, in support of the whole things might get better, and in support of Omega's speculation that maybe games will come out in a more timely manner and things will improve, usually the first thing that happens when an enormous company buys a smaller company is that they gut the smaller company's administration.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely, because it's redundant.
Well, because most of it is redundant. And there will certainly be aspects of it that will be integral to, you still need to have a hierarchy. You still need to have an administration that acts as a line of communication to the parent company. So obviously, it's not all gone, but they might gut it and rebuild it from the ground up. But yeah, it's possible that Xbox/Microsoft will inadvertently or advertently create a better working environment for all of the Blizzard employees, and maybe this will make people a lot happier and more productive. Who knows? Back to what Zero was saying, it is one of the heads of Blizzard, Mike Ybarra, is addressing company's plans to work with regards to workplace culture. Apparently, I didn't realize this, Blizzard didn't actually have much of an HR department. They had what was minimally required by law. And one of the title of the article is Blizzard Head outlines what we are doing to rebuild your trust in Blizzard. His plan is to basically start with workplace culture and work out from there, which is fine. You're building a foundation before the rest of that. But the big news here is that they are expanding their HR department, and they are making it bigger than before, and they are focusing on building diversity, equity, and inclusion. And they are putting leaders from the human resource department. They are inventing new positions to focus on these areas, and that's how they're trying to improve the guts of their organization. So maybe Blizzard is going to spearhead this initiative, or maybe it will be Xbox that says, no, you're not doing it right, or maybe it will be Xbox Microsoft that just put a cap on the whole thing and say, great job, it was our idea.
Probably.
We will see.
We will indeed see.
And, the good thing is we have these podcasts that we can come back and go, oh, look, we said that.
Yeah, we very frequently say, we speculated that would happen. I hope Bobby Kotick doesn't follow me on Twitter.
I hope he does, because...
So I can block him?
Yes. And I want that to be a live-streamed event, by the way.
That would be kind of great. Alright, anyway, yeah, so... setting up a decent HR department is high on the list of what Blizzard outlines in order to rebuild trust among the player base and among their employees. So whatever, this company that got themselves into just a whole slurry of shit has finally been acquired, or is finally in the position to be acquired, and that will make all of their problems go away.
No,
It'll
that'll
be
just
great.
keep them out of the news.
Oh, well, yeah,
Eventually.
it definitely will. It'll shift the spotlight over to Microsoft, because you'll be
If-
talking to Microsoft representatives for this whole thing.
Yeah. If they stay in California, they will be under constant watch. I have a feeling if Blizzard Activision stays in California, which they're going to, they're not going to be
Yeah,
one of
that's
the
their
companies
headquarters.
that leaves.
Yeah,
So
they're not going anywhere. They're not packing up. And I can't see Microsoft just gutting the entire company and bringing over some people from here and there. They've gone after Blizzard Activision because Activision Blizzard has a lot of titles under their belt that are very popular. There is a lot of, despite all the hype trains that usually result in nothing, or just colossal disappointment and a whole bunch of gamer toxicity, Activision Blizzard usually, I think with only one exception, puts out titles that are universally well received.
mhm.
Even Diablo 3, when it came out, that was a complete fucking clusterfuck because of Real Money Auction House. I got very popular, very good reviews when it came out. Even though servers crashed on day one because it was way more popular than they anticipated it would be.
As they always are.
That just seems to be a constant with Blizzard.
Yep.
Other thing that I think is funny is New Worlds faced similar server issues when they announced, or when they launched, and the problem was that I think there were over 1 million concurrent players or something on day one, and their popularity has since dropped considerably. To the point where, and this is not, I'm not actually gearing up towards talking about a story or anything, even though there was a story that came out related to this. New World's down to between 65 and 100,000 players per day, which is still, it's pretty fucking good for an MMO. I think it's still like third most popular game on Steam or something like that. But they have had to go through merging characters on server, or merging servers, pushing characters over to new servers so that the servers actually have a population for their whole PvP aspect, which they very unwisely merged with the PvE aspect of the game. And for some reason last week, they canceled character creation entirely. You are not able to make new characters on New World at this time, and they have not announced why. The big speculation, however, has been that it has something to do with gold farming bots, because the number of bots being used in New World right now is fucking surreal.
Gotten that bad, eh?
It's obscene. The reason for it is actually kind of twofold. First of all, there are no protections against most of it. Amazon Game Studios did a really shitty job when it came to discouraging bot use, and they're slowly adapting systems to discourage bot use, like limiting the amount of gold that you get for quest rewards, and basically scaling it up. You get more gold as a reward as your character level increases. So that's one example of stuff they've been trying to do to discourage bot use. But the other major reason for the uptick in bot use specifically is that AGS has just gone full speed on the amount of grind that it takes for you to accomplish anything in New World. When it comes to leveling up your trade skills, when it comes to leveling up your resource gathering skills, anything of the sort, they have added system on top of system on top of system to make it take as long as humanly possible for you to max anything out. And because of that, unfortunately, I should also say that some of those systems that are attached to leveling up your trade craft require you to spend gold. You have to spend 600 gold to acquire something that will let you level up an expertise on a trading skill, which is one part of one system to level up your trading skills. Because it involves gold farming bots became the new thing. Nobody wants to just run around the game trying to make. Somebody actually calculated it out. If you wanted to like level up an expertise, it's a total of 290,000 gold.
Good lord.
Nobody wants to grind that amount of gold. If anybody is familiar with this game, you do not get that much gold for finishing shit, and you're talking about playing for months to accumulate that kind of wealth. On top of paying rent if you were an idiot and you decided to buy a house. Sorry, Kosen. No, nothing personal. But yeah, it's because of those things that gold farming bots just exploded. And now I think AGS they're on damage control. So yeah, anyway, you can't create new servers in New World yet. New characters. Sorry, you can't create new characters on New World servers just yet.
Good to know.
Once the genie is out of the bottle, it's really hard to put it back in.
Yeah, they're trying. I don't know. Honestly, though, the entire thing, the whole New World game, I think, is now just a training ground for Amazon Gaming employees. That's what they're treating it as. They got their fucking money. It was a flat price, and over 1 million people bought it, obviously. So they made up a considerable amount of money on it, and they're continuing to have a small amount of trickling in income. So it's not like they're going to suffer. If they make the game shitty all of a sudden, it's not like they're going to suffer, reduced subscription fees or anything like that. They're just going to keep on going. They're going to treat it like a proving ground. You're a new employee, you go in here, you have a task, try to figure this out. If you screw it up, no big deal, but you better fucking learn how to code or else you're not going to be working for AGS very long. And this will be their training tutorial. That's my 2 cents.
That makes a startling amount of sense when you put it that way.
Because they obviously don't give a fuck about what the community wants.
No, I have a feeling they'll go the way of Blizzard with WoW on that one, and they'll create a community council that, and yes, I did just throw air quotes, because
No.
Blizzard is not listening to that community council at all.
I know where you're going with this, because Warframe did the same thing. Warframe also had a community council. They didn't call it that, but it was a place for what the fuck do they even call their kids? It's not like creator community or Warframe created. I don't know what the fuck they call those people. They did the same thing, and yeah, those people had similarly like not enough authority to actually get anything done. So it was more like a token committee. Twitch, I remember, Twitch did a similar thing.
Yes,
and
the Twitch
that went nowhere.
The Twitch Safety Council or whatever it was.
Yeah, what was that ridiculous shit that happened a while ago that everybody's forgotten about because it went nowhere?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I doubt that AGS will even go that far. I honestly don't. First of all, there's still no name put on the community for New World. Nobody actually can name one of the devs. I defy anyone in chat to name one of the devs of New World that you've seen posting on one of their forums.
We have people in chat?
Yeah, we always do. Actually, it's kind of nice. Hi, guys. I don't think that AGS will go that far at all. I just think that they're going to continue on doing whatever the fuck they want to do and screw the community. They obviously, no one, and the New World forums are also just a brilliant place to go in terms of reading really, really funny gamer toxicity. It's not really strong toxicity. It's not, like doxing people or, too much flaming or anything. It's more like, oh, you think that? Well, this is why you're a big dummy. And then they just list all the reasons. So yeah, go check out the New World forums if you want a good laugh. But anyway, nothing that the community says is having any impact on AGS. There's been nothing in patch notes that is related to the largest complaints that the New World community has had for the past 3 months. they're just not paying attention, or they don't care, or both. They
Every
have a
single
plan for their game.
person on their support forum, website, or whatever complaining that Amazon isn't being active enough and listening to them about their complaints about a video game just needs to be slapped in the face.
It's Amazon. What the fuck do you expect?
Like, seriously? Do you for a second think Amazon, like, what made you think for a second that Amazon gave a shit?
That's always the problem here. If it was an indie game studio, of course, I think it's the people who are used to playing smaller games and having, smaller games on Steam, that are independent or early access or from small studios that are just starting out. You get that kind of attention. You really do, because those people are relying on your income. If you don't buy their game, they might, lose their home. Amazon's not in that position. They don't need to listen to you. They're not. They have your money. You paid for their game. Shut the fuck up and play it or don't. That's their attitude. And if they lose their player base over this, they just get a new player base when the next thing comes out. They're not in any sort of financial squeeze here.
No, and it's also not the company that's making games because they love gaming and they give a shit about what they're making and they have some grand creative vision for something. These are games that are going to be created by market research and driven by whatever way they can make as most money as possible. Like, anybody who doesn't understand that is just plain old delusional.
Pretty much.
But yeah, not to end on a negative note or anything. On a positive note, there are plenty of people all over Steam and the New World forums who say, "Great job, AGS. It's a fantastic game. You keep on doing what you love." Equally
Followed up
delusional.
by the immediate. Sorry.
Whenever I haven't actually for a little while, but I should just one last glorious time go around and look at all the threads on the New World forums. Every time I read a post like that, I did pretty much what Omega just did. I'm just like, who are you actually talking to? They don't care.
No, it's Amazon. Why do you think they care?
Yeah, good times. So yeah,
Good times had by all.
Frostpunk 2. Well, yeah, add fucking put a good studio out there. Yeah, Frostpunk 2 is supposed to be due out early this year. So that'll be a great game worth checking out. Small, independent Polish studio. They do good shit. I'm pretty sure it's 11-bit.
Yep, they're pretty awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to a new Frostpunk. That will for sure be a lot of fun. I'm curious to see where they go with it. I haven't really been paying attention to the development of the game, so I don't know exactly what kind of stuff they're preparing for it, but I am definitely excited for it.
Well, they're definitely not going to do the same thing that they did last time. They'll probably develop an entirely new game, but with the same aesthetics, I would assume.
I mean, it's still a sequel.
Yeah, it is a sequel.
How about a completely different style of gameplay? People are going to be pissed.
For a sequel, I don't think so. Here's what I should say, or what I can give to the group to discuss here. 11-bit Studios, in addition to wrapping up work on Frostpunk 2, which will be a sequel to Frostpunk, obviously it's in the title, for God's sakes. They have also started working on a parallel project called Project 8 right now. I'm not sure if that's the final title or just the working title. So they could develop a game that has different systems, and it actually, from the spoiler shots, Project 8 looks like it has a very similar aesthetic to Frostpunk. That could be their project that is a different game style with different mechanics. However, Frostpunk 2 is going to be extremely similar mechanics. I'm just going to call it right now. Frostpunk 2 is going to be extremely similar mechanics, if not basically the same underlying mechanics as Frostpunk. However, it will have different stories in it, obviously. And they have already extensively teased the new resource to be going after, which will be oil. So instead of staying home and digging coal, I could see a game where you have to go out and establish an oil outpost and ship oil resources back to your town and come up with methods to refine it and store it for when, a storm comes through or passes.
Yeah, there's certainly going to be some new gimmick that it's based around, and I have heard people talk about oil as well, and yeah, we'll go from being coal and steam based to being oil and steam based. That would be a neat advancement, but the core mechanics of it being basically a city builder played in a radial circular fashion, I think will remain constant.
Which was lovely as far as radial city builders went. I actually can't name one right now. I know I played others. I can't name one besides Frostpunk right now, but the way that they did it, the way the city builder turned out in Frostpunk was delicious. Which is why I fucking love it.
I don't play a ton of city builder games, a few here and there, so it's my first time ever playing one that works in like a radial circular design. And I found it to be very well done, unique, intuitive, but most importantly is the game is extremely well written and interesting.
I do like games that I do like city builders or building games like these that actually have a storyline. It's the reason why I love Subnautica so much, because the storyline is actually interesting.
Storyline is also a big component of Frostpunk. That's one of the few games where, I was interested and engaged in the story that was happening, in addition to the city building mechanics. So I hope that carries over to Frostpunk too. But yeah, anyway, small indie studios that pay attention to what people want and actually respond to their community's feedback. That's the good shit.
That is definitely the good shit.
Stay away from all those big games.
Oh no.
Alright, so...
You don't want to go near those big games. There's so much trouble.
Stay away from the big vans that have free candy written on the side of them.
Aww,
it's a trap.
but I like candy.
I like candy too. But I want to get it from whoever that fucker was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the candy man, the candy store man.
Ah,
I want to get it from that dude. I'm pretty sure he wasn't a pedo.
What, Willy Wonka?
No, in the very beginning, the shop where Charlie buys the candy bar.
Okay.
From, the two candy bars. All right, so yeah, we'll cut it there. How it's the end of Fuck You, It's January, everybody. We finally made it.
mm-hmm.
Finally.
Oh no! Wait, we've still got one more podcast in the month of January.
That's true.
Next Monday.
But the period known as Fuck You, It's January has finally come to an end. Something interesting finally happened.
Oddly enough, like you said earlier, right after we said that it wasn't that nothing was happening.
Yeah, right after. Yeah. Good times. All right. Well, that was it for me. Podcast. Same time, same place next week. GG's, everybody. Penis. Penoir.